3 WWE returns set to happen very, very soon, plus some major plans for Travis Scott in the WWE, and we are going to talk about a commentary change. All right, guys, first things first, we're going to kick things off with the commentary change. As you guys may have seen, Corey Graves was moved to NXT, and they're running with a 3-man commentary booth, which I have no problem with. Corey Graves being removed from the main roster makes a lot of sense because Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett are handling commentary for SmackDown, while Pat McAfee and Michael Cole will be handling commentary for Monday Night Raw. Now, obviously, this is generating a lot of conversation because WWE is constantly altering these commentary teams. I personally find it to be a little bit annoying, and this is largely due to the fact that Pat McAfee takes time away from the WWE due to the NFL season and football, college football, all that stuff. But here's the thing. Corey Graves is a good commentator. I like Corey Graves. I like this move. It's also being said that once Pat McAfee has to take a trip back to college football and all that stuff, Corey Graves will basically move on from NXT back to the main roster. Now, at that point, I don't know if it will be him going with Michael Cole on Raw, or maybe Joe Tessitore moves to Raw instead. Ideally, I like Pat McAfee as a commentator. I also like Corey Graves. I like Wade Barrett. This is a big problem to have, right? They have so many great commentators. I think, Joe Tessitore and Michael Cole being on Raw would be great for Netflix. I think maybe even doing Corey Graves and Wade Barrett on SmackDown could be a good thing. And then when Pat McAfee comes back, he comes back. But honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to them doing a 3-man commentary team with Corey Graves either. So that is something to kind of mention. My biggest gripe that I have with this, though, and I think this is probably the biggest red flag that I have, it's due to the fact that everything kind of holds on Pat McAfee. And I think Pat McAfee's a great commentator. I really do. I just hate how the commentary teams for 3 shows are impacted by one guy's decision as to whether or not he can work. And I understand it's business, and I understand it's best for business. It's just not something I necessarily like. And I think that's where I kind of have the problem with it. And I think Pat McAfee is so good that maybe having Pat McAfee being the 3rd commentator would just make more sense. So that way it's Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and Pat McAfee. But it is what it is. WWE has made the decision to go back to 2-man commentary teams. And obviously in NXT, it's not that big of a deal to have a 3rd. So we'll see kind of how they decide to do things moving forward. What I will say is this: Corey Graves, I want him to come back to the ring. I miss when I used to watch him wrestle in NXT. That was a long time ago. But it would be really cool if he was cleared and able to wrestle maybe one day. Okay, guys, let's talk about it. Travis Scott, couple things you need to know here. I cannot stop laughing about this. WWE apparently didn't know that he was going to be lighting up, for the entrance. WWE has no heat on him whatsoever. WWE was completely relaxed about the fact that he was sparking. Now, WrestleVotes has come out and said that there is no heat on Travis Scott for his entrance. They were unaware that it was going to happen. It was not approved by the company. Everybody played it off well. The show moved along. WWE is set to have major plans for Travis Scott in the future, and we are told this did not impact any future initiatives between the parties. So it's funny to me, man. It's funny to me largely due to the fact that this is just a whole different WWE. And he was able to get away with it because it was on Netflix. And it's obviously, you don't expect this from WWE. You don't expect this at all. I mean, you expect it from Travis Scott for sure, but you don't expect it from WWE. It is what it is. My question here is, what kind of major plans do you have for Travis Scott moving forward? I don't know if Travis Scott's going to be like Bad Bunny, getting in the ring, throwing on a banger of a match. I don't know if we ever see Travis Scott get physical in the ring at all. But them being the WWE, they have this partnership with Travis Scott. He's doing the music with them. WWE is getting very heavily involved in hip hop. And I think maybe there is some potential stuff here that could be in the works between the two companies. What does that include? Does this mean Travis Scott will perform at WrestleMania 41 in Vegas? Maybe that could be the thing. It's really hard to speculate here. Here's where I kind of stand with this. And I think some people will agree, some people will disagree. I like when celebrities are involved and they're like really talented and they really buy into the WWE, right? Like we can hate on Logan Paul, but he comes in, he learns the art, he gets really good at it, he actually wrestles. Yeah, it's good. Bad Bunny comes in, gets involved, learns, really cares about it. You know, he's involved. We still haven't seen him in a while, but if WWE called him and he was available, like they could make something happen, right? Again, it works. Stephen Amell, another great example. And then also, I always forget his name. He was a little bit of that larger guy for country music. Jelly Roll. My apologies for forgetting his name, but that was a guy that like really loves this stuff. We obviously saw what he did with Austin Theory. So when somebody's like really invested in it, it's cool. I know Travis Scott is invested. I just don't know if what he could do, if that makes sense. So we'll see what happens, obviously. And that brings us to the returns. There's 3 of them that you guys need to know about. 2 things that you guys need to know. WWE has internally listed Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair as returning to the company. They're once again active roster. More than likely, Charlotte Flair will be on SmackDown tomorrow. I think Becky Lynch will be on Raw next week. We've obviously talked a lot about them. Becky Lynch re-signed for multiple years. Charlotte Flair is cleared back from injury, that type of thing. Alexa Bliss is also, her return is on the horizon. According to WrestleVotes, Creative is reportedly working into her future plans with merchandise and promotional materials already in development. There's been a lot of speculation about Alexa Bliss and where she's going to come in and how they're going to do things. So listen, I think this is really easy to speculate. WrestleMania 41, Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. I think they go for that. For Charlotte Flair, I think Tiffany Stratton is the matchup they go with for that. And as far as Alexa Bliss goes, I once again said this a million times, but I fully believe that she will be involved with the Wyatt Six. So I could even see that happening next week. Supposedly the final showdown between the Wyatt Six and the Final Testament. Alexa Bliss shows up. I think that's probably the way that they'll go about it. Obviously, we don't know for sure, but that's kind of the way I'm seeing it. And I think really for WWE, these are 3 really talented people. So how WWE plans to book them, how they plan to present them will be interesting. Charlotte is teasing something very, very different, some like evil queen type of gimmick. Becky, I think it's very needed that she turns heel. Alexa Bliss being part of the Wyatt Six takes away some of the pressure of her having to be there weekly, but also there's no pressure in the sense of like she has to wrestle a lot, which is kind of a good thing considering like the health concerns. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I appreciate you guys for watching the Ango Show.